Well, hey guys, I was looking at an article looking at minimum wage news. There's not much. Surprise. Student workers react to Ohio's minimum wage increase. Ohio's getting slammed. These workers, $10 an hour. That happens to be a lot more than my state's minimum wage. But look at this. This is a key detail. The 80-cent increase marks the most significant hike in Ohio's minimum wage in over 15 years. You heard that right. This is what it's like in Republican states. They're not interested in people standing a chance. They're not interested in helping the poor. They don't want to help you. No help is coming. $10 an hour. Yep. The fight for 15 started in 2012. I don't know if you guys know what year it is, but it's almost 2023. And they're just now getting to 10 an hour. At this rate, it will be over 2030 by the time they're at 15. If that. It might be 2040. You will be homeless. That's what they're telling you. That's what they're telling you. And for tipped employees, oh boy, $5 an hour. Hell, that's a lot better than in my state, though. My state is like $2 an hour for waitresses. $2 an hour. $2. And my state's minimum wage is 7.25 though. So I guess they're more fortunate than us, but no, this is just the common trend. You're not supposed to survive in these red states. They've made that very clear that minimum wage will not go up. Minimum wage cannot go up. And if you look at it, the people support it. The voters in these states they're completely okay with it. They're okay with 725. They wouldn't keep voting the people in. You know, this comes down to Republicans are just the problem. This it has been since it's been over a decade. The minimum wage has been 725. Republicans don't care. Uh, They don't care. The only reason Ohio is maybe they're raising it to 10. That's because it's somewhat of a swing state, for the presidential election, whatnot. It's somewhat of a swing state. In a state like mine, solid red state, Republicans winning by over 20, 30, 40 points, you could forget about even getting past 725. They're not interested. They have an absolute disdain for poor people. Republicans, they want to see poor people in jail. I think that's what it comes down to. They're not interested in helping. You got me. I can't even get a job. There are no jobs in my area. Unemployed, given my channel name. Can't get a job. The only places I think are hiring are McDonald's, Taco Bell. Last time I talked to them, they said $8 an hour. $8 an hour in 2020. That's almost 2023. What are we doing? What and what do Republicans say? They tell you, well, what they tell you, they say these jobs are there for teenagers. They're for people that don't have bills. Every McDonald's I've been to, it's all adults, and they're tired and burnt out. Well, what are you supposed to do? Student workers. This whole article's framed as in, you know, these jobs are for young kids. They're not for adults. Well, where are the adults supposed to work? There's no jobs there either. I'm an adult. I can't get a job. Yeah. Just look at it. Come on. $10 an hour. That's that's not even 20 grand a year. It's not after taxes, after you're not. And none of these jobs that you get paid these type of wages, they're not giving you 40 hours a week. I don't know anybody in these crappy jobs that even the ones that are even 15 an hour, you're not working 40 hours a week. You- you're not working anywhere near that. I have a friend that works at the grocery store, right? He gets paid $11 an hour. He's been there for almost a year. 11 bucks an hour. And he works about 25 hours a week. I mean, these wages, and there's still taxes. These wages are a joke. You're never, he asked me one day, he still doesn't have a car. He still doesn't have a car. He said, what do I do? I said, there's nothing you can do. You're going to have to walk. You're going to have to keep walking to work. You don't get a choice. Eh, The there's what options do you have? I mean, you look at car prices. The worst beater car you can get is probably what, 9 grand, 8 grand on 10 bucks an hour. What what are you gonna do? You're never gonna save $9,000 on 10 bucks an hour. What? It's never gonna 25 hours, 30 hours a week if you're lucky. That's years, years. You're never gonna own a vehicle. And in these red states, there's no public transit either. You could forget about getting around. There's no sidewalks, there's no bike lanes. Republican states, you're supposed to just have a diesel pickup truck and have some magical job you're making 40 an hour. And I don't know where. I don't know how. I go in public, I see these people have $100,000 pickup trucks, lifted pickup trucks. And I'm getting a ride because I can't afford gas. I can't You can't afford to have a car. I can't even get a job. And what do Republicans tell you? You have to try harder. That's what they usually tell you. You have to try harder, or you need to work more. The jobs don't give you more hours. And Republicans say, you know what? Work 3 jobs. And when you say I can't do that, the jobs, they switch your schedule every week. They say, oh, that's your fault. You tell them your situation. They say, you know what? Yeah, everyone else isn't poor. It's just you. No, it's not. Everybody I know is they're either poor or in jail. And when they get out, they're not gonna be able to get a job, which is a whole nother video I could talk about with criminal backgrounds. But you can't, what are you supposed to do in this country? Oh, not to forget, Ohio, crappy benefits at best. All these Republican states, you're not getting food stamps. You're not getting housing assistance. You're not getting bills assistance. Definitely not food assistance. I mean, you're not getting anything. You're not getting anything. You're going to get paid minimum wage and you're not getting benefits. And there's no public transit. And there's no sidewalks. And there's no bike lanes. And you're far away from town because how they set up the towns in Republican states. Republican states have like 2 big cities and all the other towns are you're 30 minutes away from the grocery store. If you're walking, you're hours away. And God forbid you're caught walking in a Republican state, the cops might get you. There's no telling. And this is just a chronic problem these red states have. And the rent, the Republicans like to talk about California. That's the one they like to pick on, or New York, but usually California. They'll say, but the rent there, it's crazy. The rent's crazy here. I'm living in the cheapest apartment in my town. There is not one cheaper. The cheapest. When I see the prices of apartments and then the minimum wage, you'd have to have maybe 4 minimum wage jobs to survive. You'd have to work 100 hours a week to survive here. And Republicans don't care. They just say, well, go work construction or what do they even say nowadays? They've lost the minimum wage debate repeatedly, but they seem to keep, blocking all the bills. So, because Democrats never get a big enough majority to do anything, but what is it they say? They say, oh, just go get a better job, or they say work for yourself. Oh, I have to make a whole series on the talking points they use. the propaganda. But you got, I mean, Republican states, you can't live there unless you're a business owner or some capitalist. You can't live in a Republican state. They're not meant for poor people. And if you're poor in a Republican state, there's a high chance you're going to end up in jail. There really is. Because if you're homeless, they'll bring you to jail. They will haul you to jail. Republicans are not interested in hearing your pleas, you're needy. No. They'll haul you away. Because they're back the blue no matter what they do. So you'll be making, what happens when you're making 725? You've got to shoplift. You've got to steal to survive. You've got to skip car insurance to survive. That's a whole nother problem. Vehicles. But I'll have to make a video on all these topics. But what are you supposed to do? Honestly, you're not going to survive in a Republican state. You're not going to make it. You're not meant to make it. They think if you're poor, they'll slap you with criminal charges. They'll make sure you can't vote either. So you can't ever change the rules. They're really big on that. Stripping people's right to vote away. That's all I got. But Republican states are in the garbage.